And Lisa, this is to the General's point that, there has been surges in the past, but the Taliban fighters come back. Right. A lot of them had sanctuary in Pakistan. But previous administrations have tried to close down these sanctuaries in the past and have failed.
Right, and I think that that's the million-dollar question here, is that we've been at this for 16 years, so how are we going to switch this around to finally be victorious, which is victory was one of his buzzwords over and over again. And I think that that's where we need to change the conversation as well. Number of troops, for example, is not... We have an evolved enemy, and we need to evolve our strategy to meet that enemy. So when Donald Trump says that we will do whatever it takes diplomatically, militarily, and economically, that's a three-pronged approach. It's not just a military approach. When we have to perhaps put more of our assets towards fighting them on the web than we do on the battleground, that's an evolved approach. That's something that we haven't been doing for 16 years. So I think that that's something that Donald Trump is bringing to the table and allowing us to say, we're going to take a new approach, and I'm coming at this like a CEO. I'm not going to let Pakistan or India or anyone take advantage of us. And one of the other very clear messages that he had was that Afghanistan has to take the biggest burden in all of this. The people of Afghanistan need to choose their future, and they're going to shape their government.
And to Colonel Francona, the issue of Pakistan is one which obviously previous administrations have dealt with. How is this administration going to deal with putting more pressure from a diplomatic and an economic point of view when the State Department is so short-staffed? And there is still this leverage of military aid to the Pakistanis, but there's still a reluctance in Pakistan to actually carry out and rid these areas of these sanctuary zones.
Well, I think it's going to be a real problem. I don't see how that gets solved anytime soon, unless we're really willing to put strong diplomatic and economic, even sanctions on the Pakistanis. I just don't see that happening. We still need the Pakistanis to conduct the operations there, so we have to deal with them. I don't think that this train, advise, and assist, though, with the Afghans is going to work of itself, as I said before. The difference of the surges in the past was we inputted American combat forces, not trainers. And I think when we see the 4,000 that go in there, if that number is correct, it will be interesting to see, are they going to be special operations forces, or are they going to be regular trainers and advise and assist? So I think that makes a big difference in how this comes out, because developing nationalism among the Afghans is a real problem. Most of the Afghans don't consider themselves to be Afghans. They consider themselves to be something else, a tribe or a region. So it's a real problem on how we generate that feeling for the Pakistanis. And of course, the president has said, we need to see results, and if we don't see results, we're going to reassess what we're doing.
And just, General, I think we're almost out of time here, but if you increase the number of U.S. troops in Afghanistan, does that then increase the United States' reliance on Pakistan, because you need those supply lines to keep those troops equipped?
My gosh, you just targeted me, because that was one of my responsibilities over there, certainly to maintain the supply lines from Karachi, which is Pakistan, through what we called the Torkham Gate, through the Shaman Gate. Those were the access points for almost every single item of equipment, food, everything that we needed. And they've shut it down before. You shut it down. And just a quick comment as we sort of run out of time. We're really talking about and using a phrase that goes back 170 years or so. I think Admiral Kirby used it as well. It's called the Great Game. And this game has been going a long time. So we could spend a considerable amount of time talking about the intricate relationships between Pakistan and India. I'm somewhat concerned about some of the remarks that were made. India is certainly a strategic player. So is Pakistan. A disciplined and more vigorous approach to Pakistan might have some short-term benefits. It certainly makes us feel good, but there are some significant consequences to putting that type of pressure on Pakistan. And as you sort of addressed, as you looked at me, the moment that you do this, it's almost, at least my experience there for the years I was there, was almost instantaneous. Those gates will shut down. We have a logistics nightmare. We can't support our personnel. We have to figure out some way of doing it. So we need that cooperation, whether superficial or otherwise. So it's very complex. And then, of course, you can never forget, as was discussed earlier, this forever combat or challenge between Pakistan and India. And the moment you put those two together, you've got fireworks.
No one said it's easy, and which is why it's been going on for 16 years. General Lisa and Colonel Francona, thank you all.